Prepare yourself for Earthling Entertainment, the perfect blend of paranormal and pop culture, with your host, Joe Wakefield and Ryan Lang.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Earthling Entertainment with Joe Wakefield and Ryan Lang.
Hey, I'm your host who currently is in a lawsuit with the publishers of The Never-Ending Story for false advertisement. You know that book ends?
Uh-huh.
Joe Wakefield.
And hi, I'm actually currently not in any legal battle with The Never-Ending Story. I'm Ryan Lang.
That's good because then we have to form a class action lawsuit, right?
I hope you got a luck dragon.
You get see what they're topical. That's what this show is.
They're fluffy.
Topical. But all of you who've listened to the show before, you know that. You know what we're about. We're all about the spooky stuff and we're all about the pop culture. Two halves of the show that come together to make a delicious podcast. But for those of you joining us for the first time, perhaps you need a little bit of elaboration. So I will give that to you right now.
He will.
What we do here is a little bit of the spooky, a little bit of the creepy. Sometimes it's cryptozoology. Other times it's a haunting or a myth or a legend, but it's always spooky. That is why it is in our first part, which we lovingly call Spooky Stuff. That's followed up with a segment that we have called Disclosure Discussion. That one's all about aliens.
Hey, I'm just asking questions, UFO stories, videos, strange things in the sky. We got one of those today.
Like right now? Look up, people. Things are happening.
I mean, maybe, depending where you're at.
I know. Then the second half of the show, the latter half, if you will, is all dedicated to pop culture and entertainment. Now, sometimes we do celebrity guest interviews. Other times we do trivia games, or there's an audio drama. There's usually some kind of genre film news, music stuff occasionally. It's all pop culture all the time. We even got some video games thrown in there at times. A lot of fun. And those two sections, the spooky and the pop culture, come together, like I said earlier, into the delicious Oreo of a podcast known as Earthling Entertainment. Welcome.
Welcome indeed.
So, Ryan, you know how Eloise Asylum is just down the street?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so for those of you who don't know, Eloise is an old asylum. They shut it down, like 50s, 60s? I'm not sure. And it's supposedly haunted. A bunch of different ghost hunters went there. Expedition X went there.
I went there to do a little ghost hunt of my own.
See, there you go. Well, I was looking at the interwebs, as one does, and they were advertising a job, and they were like, we're looking for paranormal investigators, people to actually do that. And I'm reading it, and I'm like, okay, I'm intrigued because right now my wife is about to go on maternity leave, and I was gonna basically pick up another job on the side just to make some extra money before before the kids around. And I was like, this would be great. And I'm reading it, and it turns out it's essentially more of just a tour guide. But they're like, we'll show you how to use these paranormal investigative, machines.
Yeah.
This one for the,
Why not Zoidberg?
The lasers and all that stuff. The fun things, Ryan. Fun things. Would you do it?
Oh, 100%.
We should. We should apply. We could do it like Step Brothers, where we'll show up as a team.
That's right. We gotta like wear like the same. No, we'll do the suits from Dumb and Dumber.
Well, no, because we actually do want the jobs.
That's
I want to
true.
just be a little silly. You know
All
what I
right,
mean?
just slightly.
So Ghostbuster outfits.
Oh, well, that's perfect.
Matching Ghostbusters.
That's perfect. You could probably whip that up actually now. Like,
I mean, you can get like a tan Dickies jumpsuit, just throw some patches on there.
Yeah.
It'll be fine.
Dude, I'm in. I am in. So do we get to make up like our own name, like Ghostbuster name?
I guess. I mean, if you're gonna go full Ghostbuster, you got to make up your name. I mean, you could just go Stans like the film. But
Yeah.
If you want it, why don't you just keep your own name? You could be Lang.
Okay.
I'll be Wakefield.
Okay.
Be like, The only thing is Ghostbusters. Do we try to change it a little bit? Like maybe we make it like the Detroit Lions colors, and we're just like we're the Detroit division.
Yes.
Yes.
Blue and silver.
There you go.
I love it. No, but for real, dude, it's crazy, man. I love Ghostbusters, and I always have. When I was a kid, that was one of the movies that I wore the VHS like down like so much, like it was scratchy by the end of its life. Like I loved that movie.
I did like how VHSs kind of wore away where you paused them. So when you rented tapes, there was always like when there was a weird like warp in the tape, you knew a nude scene was coming.
I was gonna
up.
say a nude scene.
Yeah. That was always awesome. But
be kind.
Well,
please rewind.
Well, I'm just saying, at the time when we were watching VHSs, we were very young, so that was as good as you got. It's not like you could go on Google, is all I'm saying.
No, it was a very different time, and I remember like getting my dad in trouble because I was like, "You're gonna tape this one, right?" Because we would get the VHS, and then you could set up. My dad had like the big
Old school
pirating, like with the old school camcorder, and he would have that. So he somehow was able to record onto that from the VCR, and bam, we literally got copies of every movie we rented.
Huh.
Maybe I shouldn't have admitted that on the air.
I don't know, man. I don't know if the FBI comes after you for stealing movies years later.
You wouldn't steal a car.
Yeah, we steal them. Do you remember all those commercials
Yes.
of downloading movies? And at one time when I was young, I downloaded a bunch of movies as well. And then the second I moved to LA and I was working in the industry, I'm like, nope, don't bite the hand that feeds. And I deleted my whole hard drive. And I remember, being like, it's the end of an era. End of an era.
I think growing up is realizing that Lars Ulrich of Metallica was right. Like everybody, dude, yeah, everybody came down on him like, oh, you're such a money grabbing so and so, for he was mad about the file sharing
about the downloading. And sharing,
and because back then that's what it was called, right? It was file sharing. It wasn't really downloading. It was a weird way.
Well, you're downloading it off each other.
Yeah, it was odd, but yeah, he obviously he was the most famous for really fighting back at it and stuff like that. Even Tool didn't even release their music on digital streaming
for a very long time
until they released their last album.
Okay, so like 2018 or something. I mean,
I think it was about that time. That was my gosh. I don't know why I'm drawing a blank. I mentioned Tool. I can't even think of the new album.
I remember I was happy when Nightwish dropped all their music, and then Pink Floyd too, because wasn't Pink Floyd not on there for a while?
I always found Pink Floyd, so I don't know. I must have caught the end of that one. But I know that Tool waited too long, and even Maynard was like, "We fucked up." He was like, "We probably missed out on so many younger fans that we could have gotten."
Maybe. All of this stemmed from me basically telling you that I wanted to be a paranormal investigator in this in this mental hospital. You want to know why though? Is because we got to live our dreams, Ryan. And
you do.
I want to do the ghost hunting because I already did the Scooby-Doo.
You did the Scooby-Doo?
When I was the night watchman at the Henry
That's
Ford.
right. Yeah, well, yeah, I remember. I remember you give me a call. I get a call at 1 a.m. I'm sitting here playing Skyrim. And what's funny is I'm still playing Skyrim. But anyways, this is a long time ago.
I think that's more to say about the people making the next game than it is about you, Ryan.
But no, I'd get a call at 1 a.m. Hey, man, hold on. I got to go to the Edison house. And I'm like, okay. Yeah. And he would just be like, just stay on the phone. All right. Just in case.
There's some spooky stuff. So the next natural step is a haunted asylum. I mean, I'm just thinking, man, how many of these can we check off our belt?
Honestly, you're qualified.
I could be a grave digger next.
Ooh, that'd be great. A grave digger, a mortician.
I mean, to be fair, nowadays it's just one guy at 9 a.m. with a backhoe. It's not like there's some old man with a shovel, but
just the dude who drives the hearse. A hearse driver. Can you just sign up to be a hearse driver? Like, I don't want to do nothing with nothing. I just want to drive a hearse. I want to drive with dead bodies.
So we can start our own business here, right, Ryan? Because if you think about it, it would be a funeral home. There's someone there who drives the hearse to the cemetery, at least to all the funeral homes that I've been to. So it's a job that doesn't need filling. But what if you start like an Uber or Lyft service where you get all the accreditations you need to, and your sole purpose is to transport bodies? You're like the Lyft for dead people.
Dude, that's the future. That's the future. Pretty soon, that'll be like ambulances. There's going to be like Uber ambulance, and it's going to be like way cheaper than getting a real ambulance. And it'll just be some dude.
She's like, I got the blood bags. Throw their bitch in.
Lay down.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
I'm going to strap you in here. Just hold still.
I think the first natural step would be to like get a hearse and just hang out.
So start with the dead.
No, just hang out next to funeral homes, and when people go in, just be like, "Hey, I'll cut you a deal. Tell them $50. You'll move the body through me. I'll do it for 20."
I mean, I'm just saying. That's honestly, I'm not even kidding. I've never even thought about it. That's the future. I guarantee there's going to be like Uber ambulance. There's going to be Uber hearse. There's going to be.
Well, it started with Uber, and then there's Uber Eats. So
right, and there's the party bus. So it's already a bar on a bus. So there's that. So it's just
There
like
was when I was in LA, there was a thing called Saucy, and when I hit them up, they would come and bring alcohol and cigarettes to you.
excellent.
Yeah,
Excellent.
that's all they did. They were the liquor store app.
I'm just saying, like that's the dream. That's America.
Don't.
Just saying.
Well, I will say that there'd probably be a lot less drunk drivers out there if
Yeah.
someone delivered them booze so they didn't have to.
I mean,
Go
yeah,
get them.
there's Uber Eats. You can do it. I believe that they can bring you alcohol. I'm pretty sure.
I don't know if
I've
they
never
can.
tried.
I'm pretty sure. Well, that's what set that Saucy thing apart, is because you couldn't just order alcohol
Huh.
like in any other way. Well, I mean,
They're missing it. They should figure that out.
well, there's a whole legal issue. How do you prove to someone who's buying it's over 21 and it's not like ordered by like a 12-year-old?
I mean, I guess you're right.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying
because
there's
how would they do that? There'd have to be some kind of like
Well, with the
registration process.
Well, exactly. The way Saucy did it is you fill out like a little profile. When they come, they check your ID, but I'm just saying for an Uber Eats driver to now have to find a person and check their ID, it's like that's a whole nother thing to be asking people to do, right?
Right. But I mean, all I got to say about that is we should totally get the job at Eloise.
Yes.
That's where this
Dressed
started.
as Ghostbusters.
Reminding everybody that's where this started. This is about us becoming paranormal investigators at Eloise. We would love to. That'd be sweet.
All right, let's just jump into our first segment.
Spooky stuff.
The Popobawa.
Ba, ba, ba.
The Popobawa is an evil spirit or Shetani that thrives on the island of Pemba near Tanzania in Africa, and it has caused mass panic over the years.
And we're going to tell you why.
And let me tell you guys, strap in for this one. I was halfway through learning about this cryptid before I just
It took a left turn.
took a hard left turn. So let's do this together. I want to take you guys on the ride that I took. The Popobawa is said to be a bat-like creature with one eye.
That's right, a Cyclops gargoyle. That's what we're dealing with.
That's exactly what it looks like. It is said to be medium-sized and has leathery skin. In Swahili, the Popobawa's name means batwing. The name is said to have originated as a description of the dark shadow cast by the spirit when it attacks at night. It does not refer to the actual form of the spirit, which is supposedly liable to change.
Yeah, a lot of shape-shifting cryptids, but
A lot of that.
I'm not going to focus on the shape-shifting. What I want to say is, why is he making a dark shadow when he's attacking people at night?
I mean, the
Not
moon.
during the day. The moon?
The moon
Must be a really bright moon, man.
Sometimes it's bright.
All right.
Swahili speakers also use a plural form of the name Mapapabawa.
And I just like the name of that. I just like that word. It's just fun to say.
Mapapabawa.
My Popobawa. It sounds
Like
you know,
it
that-
does. It sounds like
I've
a
got
jingle.
the power.
That was it. That was it. That was where my head went. Yes.
Woo! My
Yes.
Popobawa.
To refer to multiple manifestations of the feared spirit. Ba-ba-ba-bawa. That's in my head for
the rest of it.
That's gonna be a while. This plural.
I
is,
wish we could name the episode that, but no one's gonna get it because it's just gonna be the name.
Yep.
You can't like add music to a title.
This plural is anglicized as Popobawas.
My
It-
Popobawa.
Oh my god, right, dude? That's in my head the rest of the day now. It is sometimes associated with the presence of a sulfurous odor.
Them bitches stink.
They stink. I mean, right? I mean, that's the thing of sulfur, the burning of sulfur. It's always like with evil, right?
Well, see, that's the thing because you're looking at it and it's like a one-eyed gargoyle, and now it smells like sulfur. How do you tell people that you're not a demon? Like that is a PR nightmare.
It is. I mean, it's really hard for the Popobawa's agent.
There was this sci-fi book that was later turned into a sci-fi miniseries, and it was called, oh God, I forget what it was called. But the point is, At Children's End, or like At Children's End.
Okay.
And basically the aliens, they show up and they start doing all this nice stuff for us. And then they're like, okay, guys, we're not going to show you the way we look. And they do all these nice things. And then finally they're like, all right, guys, now that you finally trust us, I don't want to blow your hair back, but we're red and we have horns and a spike tail.
Oh.
Yeah. And it's like, they look like devils. And then it's the whole theory of just, did our ancestors instinctively know this would be the form of evil and all this other stuff? So I'm just saying.
What was that from?
Children's End or Childhood's End.
Okay.
It's a sci-fi book. But the point I'm trying to make is, as a Popobawa, if you're already looking like a one-eyed gargoyle, it sucks that you smell like sulfur too. You're just getting a bad rap. People just immediately think, "Oh, hellspawn."
Yeah. I was gonna say I seen that one, the South Park episode where it was the giant taco that poops ice cream. The alien went into a form that they could understand, and they're like, "No, you don't have to do that." And he's just like, just like became this giant monster. And they're just like, "Okay, how about a giant taco that poops ice cream?" And they're like, "That's good. That's good."
You do. That was referencing Contact, buddy.
I'm just saying. Oh, that was.
Yeah, that was
right.
referencing Contact, not Childhood's End.
Well, either way, it was close. It was close. The alien went to what they wanted to see. Just saying. It was close. So back to the Popobawa. The Popobawa attacks men, women, and children.
Indiscriminate jerk, that one.
And may attack all of the members of a household before passing on to another house in the neighborhood. Its nocturnal attacks can consist of simple physical assault, and or poltergeist-like phenomena.
Yeah, so might walk in the door, smack you in the face, or just kind of like hide around while he shoots plates around moves a chair. Simple, innocent shenanigans.
And here's where it takes that hard left turn. Everybody ready? But most feared is the sexual assault and the sodomizing of adult men and women.
Oh, no.
Victims are urged to tell others that they have been assaulted.
What?
And are now prone to repeated visits by the Popobawa if they do not. So they have to tell everyone all the time, or he'll be like, "I'm coming back."
Well, that's horrifying, but also prone to repeated visits. That reminds me of like the abductee phenomenon, right? Where you're abducted by aliens and then you keep getting abducted by aliens for the rest of your life. Maybe you put a tracker or whatever in you. So this feels like the worst version of that.
It definitely is the worst version of that. Villagers maintain that the Popobawa becomes enraged if his existence is denied. Popobawa allegedly spoke to a group of villagers in Pemba through a girl possessed by the monster in 1971. The girl, called Fatuma, spoke in a man's deep voice.
"Hey guys, if I visit you in the night, you better tell your neighbors.
You better tell everyone.
If you don't tell people, I'm coming back."
No problem. Oh my God, the Popobawa exists.
Well, I'm just saying, if you're not expecting that kind of situation, it's not something you're looking for. You probably don't want it to happen again.
I mean, for God's sake, I would hope not. You know what I mean? Well, I mean, unless you're into that sort of thing. But I'm just saying, maybe you're not really into one-eyed gargoyle-looking bat.
Yeah, it's
things.
true. Every gay friend I've had has standards, and they did not want to fuck a bat cyclops. I'm just saying.
Not a one. So the Popobawa.
Hold on. To be fair, I don't want to kink shame. If there is somebody out there who's totally into gargoyles,
100%,
more power to you. And I say send the videos.
I mean, there's gargoyle porn out there from like the original like gargoyles. Thing.
Were you talking about the cartoon? The
yes,
Disney cartoon?
There's gargoyles.
I've seen it, so I know that. Yeah, so there absolutely is. Dude, AI has got ridiculous. Anything that existed cartoon-wise or show-wise has been put into an AI filter, and somebody's wrote, "Now make him have sex."
Just the fact that Joe's just he didn't miss a fucking beat. Like there's.
It's not hard to find. You're going on there, just look, cartoon butt.
All right. Well, learning stuff about each other. The Popobawa is also a shapeshifter and is described as taking different forms, not just that of a bat. It can take either human or animal form and transform from one into the other.
So you're telling me that maybe it was just some dude running around and they're like, "No, it was just being a creep"? Or I don't know.
I am the night.
I question Batman's motives now.
Oh, no. Well, Batman did have two eyes. We got that.
Where's the trigger?
I never knew. Fuck. The Popobawa typically visits homesteads at night, but has also been seen in the daytime. So he's not a vampire.
I hope when he's seen in the daytime, though, he's just a straight up bat guy walking down the street, like without shame. And he, like, at night, he'll disguise himself as a normal human.
He's like completely opposite.
Yeah,
just
exactly.
this freak
Yeah,
walking into town getting groceries.
He's like, I do what I want. He's just staring at people and he's like, you know what happened. And so do your neighbors because I made you tell.
My God. So, the Me Too movement of Popobawa, much like vampires of Europe, the Popobawa who can take the appearance of an ordinary man during the day.
Okay, see, this sounds like there might have just been a bunch of rapists running
This is
around.
what's worrisome. Like I said, but this was like a big thing. Like I said, I tell you people, I did not stumble upon this until I was halfway done with this.
I just wish our last episode wasn't leprechauns and butt phones. People are going to think there's a weird theme. For those of you joining us for the first time, this is not a weird theme.
It is not. It is not. This is complete happenstance. I swear to God. We were on the phone when I was working on this. I'm like, oh, dude, I found this thing, Popobawa. Oh, it's great, And I was already halfway done.
After we hung up the phone.
I was like, oh my God.
Because let me tell you, I did not know about this until this morning when we were transcripting the show notes.
Yep. So I'll just jump right back in. So the Popobawa, who can take the appearance of an ordinary man during the day.
Sup, I'm Larry.
Sup, Larry? Is said to be a bat-like creature that enters your home at night. The Popobawa has a fearsome appearance, having only one eye, large bat wings, and a massive phallus.
It actually says that?
Yes.
Oh my God, continue.
But
to make insult to injury,
he is
he
hung.
is size 17.
But he's going to be very popular. But what makes the Popobawa far more disturbing than that of vampires, for rather than wanting to suck your blood, the Popobawa reportedly has a different and far more unpleasant appetite to, everyone in a household it invades. Oh my gosh. And it is said to return every night unless the victim tells people that they know that the Popobawa has done what it's done.
Yeah, and you know what else is? It also said earlier that sometimes it'll go through a whole house and then move to the next house. So all I could say is, what is this guy eating? Because he has stamina.
I mean, you know what? If you got to give that.
Yeah,
Got to give him that.
If nothing else.
The spirit is willing, but the flesh is bruised. Zap Brannigan. Anyways, during Popobawa panics, which have happened throughout the years.
Can you imagine if the entire community is worried about a bat creature breaking in and assaulting you?
My God,
that would be panic.
We had panics about books.
Yeah, it's like in the United States in the 80s, the AIDS panic was the big scary thing. But no, these people were afraid of gay people. So instead of the AIDS panic, they were like, hey, bat creatures.
I mean, good Lord. Like the top of all tops. So
it does. That seems just like we're really afraid of it. Like they're like it seems very homophobic.
It's wild. This is such a weird creature. Like I said, that's why I'm like, F it. I've never heard of this. So we're all going on the same ride together, everybody. Like, I hope you're still strapped in. Don't unbuckle until the ride has come to a complete stop.
Yes. But the Popobawa, he's going to strap on.
He is. So during Popobawa panics, many people try to guard against attack by spending the night awake, of course, outside of their houses, often huddled around and open fire with other family members and neighbors. Panics occur most often in Zanzibar, throughout the island of Pemba, and in the north and west of Unguja of Zanzibar, the Zanzibar Islands, including Zanzibar town. Episodes have also been reported in Dar es Salaam and other towns on the mainland coast of Tanzania. This evil spirit or Shetani is believed by residents to have first appeared on the Tanzanian island of Pemba in 1995. It was the focus of a major outbreak of mass hysteria and panic, which spread from Pemba to Unguja and the main island of Zanzibar archipelago. I was going to say, I wrote that out for myself because that's a hard one. Archipelago, which means a multitude of islands.
It does, yes.
And across to Dar es Salaam and other urban centers on the East African coast. So this was a huge, huge deal.
Yeah.
Like it literally spread panic. I mean, how couldn't it?
Okay, but just follow me here. If Christian Bale's version of Batman is real, and the first one that came out was Batman Begins in 2005, earlier when he's training as Batman, it could have been 1995. Therefore, he could have
With
taken
Ra's al Ghul?
Yeah, so maybe he took a sabbatical to this island I'm just saying, Ryan.
Where are they? Oh my God. So sightings of the Popobawa only go back about 60 years. The first reports date back to 1965 on the island of Pemba, appearing shortly after that island's political revolution. Reports of Popobawa attacks rise and fall with the election cycle in Zanzibar, although victims argue Popobawa is apolitical. Popobawa reports rose dramatically relatively recently in 1995. As aforementioned, a further surge of attacks were reported in Dar es Salaam in 2007. So that's fairly recent. One explanation put forth for the election cycle connection is the claim that the Popobawa is a vengeful ghost of the assassinated president Abid Karum,
who was also known for breaking into people's houses.
Evidently so. Maybe that's the reason why he was assassinated. Allegedly.
That is obviously not the case, but could you imagine if we looked it up and that was like...
Or was summoned by the Kama Ka Mapinduzi political party. So people are straight up being like, you summoned...
Kama what was that?
It's hard. It's really hard. Kama Ka Mapinduzi, I believe, is how you're supposed. Because the CH, I think, is Ka. So Kama Ka Mapinduzi political party of the yeah. So and they're like literally accused. You summoned a Popobawa.
Can you? Okay, so all the things we've heard different political parties accuse each other of, that one takes the cake. Yeah. Of just, you summoned a demon who's going around sodomizing everybody. Like, come on, man. You could have got a demon that would, I don't know, pluck out eyeballs, another demon who maybe sets you on fire, you're like, kicks your dog. But no,
it's like,
you got the demon who's sodomizing everybody.
That is a serious allegation, sir. That is a very, very serious allegation.
How do you combat that? Be like,
well, how do you explain all these people running around saying that, they've encountered this creature in certain ways? I mean, there's a lot of people running around saying it. That is one heck of a way to support your party. My Popobawas. I'm just saying. Let's go ahead and jump right back in. So there is actually a different popular origin story of the Popobawa that proposes that in the 1960s, an angry sheik released a jinn to take vengeance on his neighbors. The sheik lost control of the jinn, who took demonic ways, becoming the transmutating one-eyed bat predator. So that's his origin story there. I mean, so I can see that. So just kind of lost control of a jinn who was like, I'm going to go a different route. Some people... some genies like to go into lamps. Yeah. You know what I'm going to do? You know what I'm going to do?
Robin Williams might want to sing around and hang out with a guy and a monkey, but what I'm going to do, make that guy my monkey.
Never had a friend like me.
Oh no. Run. If you're not looking for it, it's pretty bad.
Oh my God. I can't believe it. I'm losing to a rug.
Oh.
So, the Popobawa has been seen. Has seen a recent recent reference in
a reefer reference?
Reefer reference. No, a recent reference in 2022. The Popobawa and his sexual proclivities are retold in great detail in the Hammer of Zanzibar segment of Satanic Hispanics, which is my favorite show.
What?
I honestly don't even know, but literally that was like I was looking for like anything that recently,
would
and
be
that
pop
was
culture.
that was the most recent one. And I mean, there you go. So if you there is one person out there who's like, yes.
Wow. Okay, guys. Well, that was this week's spooky stuff. Normally, like I said, we cover cryptozoology, a spooky haunting, or some myth, or some legend. And I think the next one we're doing a ghost. I need a full palate cleanser from monsters after that one.
Yeah, we're starting to we're getting down there in the barrel. We're not scraping the bottom yet, but
well, there's whole countries we didn't look at before. But when you get to like, how have we not heard of this before? Like, even
what episode is this?
This is 79.
So,
but if you count the bonus episodes, we're on like 82 or 3.
So we've done. Think about that. That is a lot of cryptids and creatures and shit that we have done up to this point. So forgive me, y'all. I didn't mean to go down a bat that does you know what. And but no, it's just like. But you're right. I like what you just said. How the heck have we not heard of this? That's why when it popped up, as I was searching cryptids, I was just doing my thing. This came up.
I just think it's funny because when it made this left turn, when you realized the nature of this particular creature, rather than telling me, you're like, no, I'm going to wait.
Yes.
And it's probably a good idea because while I was doing the show notes this morning, I didn't have time to find another one. So even if by the way, I'm not saying we wouldn't have done this. We would have done it. But even if I wanted to have replaced it, there was no time. So that was sneaky on your part.
I knew it was gold, though. Let's face it. This is crazy and had to be talked about. The Popobawa's story needed to be told, in my opinion.
Well, you know, a lot of times you cover things that other shows have covered. I mean, the Leland Frog, I just saw another podcast cover. The Beast of Bay Road, a lot of people cover.
We did that one.
You know, the Ozark Howler, a lot of people have
Children.
covered. Yeah, but you know what? I've never heard anyone cover the Cyclops Gargoyle bat that likes butt play.
Well, let me tell you, here at Earthling Entertainment, we tell it like it is. We tell it like it is. And
you gotta tell me how your girlfriend likes this episode, bud.
Oh, dude, I can't. She has probably been chortling pretty well at this by now. I'm sure. Well, just hearing us dance around talking about a bat that sodomizes people.
There's only so many times you could use the word sodomize at a damn opening, bud.
I'm just saying we might as well just get it out of our system because this is going to be it for a while. We promise you, people. This is done. We're done with doing this.
Let's move on to disclosure discussion.
Disclosure discussion. Ha 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 ha! It's about aliens and stuff.
So I wanted to start out disclosure discussion this week with something a little bit different. Something kind of more personal for me.
Okay, all right.
I didn't see anything, obviously, myself, but I saw a bunch of videos online of these real bright lights, these bright orbs off the coast of Florida. And
yeah, you showed me the video of this. To me, it kind of looked like maybe a lighthouse in the middle of the ocean, but obviously there isn't one of those.
Well, right, because of the commentary. And that's to me the credibility of a lot of UFO, UAP videos is the commentary. You're hearing real life people being like, what the hell is that?
Yeah, you gotta tell if they're actually shocked or not.
And it sounded legit to me. And so I watched a few videos. I even saw some in different languages. So it was different videos of the same phenomena, the glowing orbs that I saw. One of them being giant and another one being smaller and slowly moving away from it. And everybody in...
So when you say different languages, you're thinking like tourists in Florida who also caught it?
Or I think it was Spanish. So I'm just, maybe just people who speak Spanish in that area,
Sure,
know.
It's Florida.
And so that was just my proof. I'm just like, there's multiple videos of the same event. So it
happened.
It definitely happened. And and you could see it from different angles. And I saw a ton of videos and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's going to be disclosure discussion this week.
Yeah, because there's going to be a billion articles about that. I mean, how could there not be?
So I start digging in. Nothing.
Nothing?
Nothing. No one wants to touch this.
That's so weird because, I mean, they make videos about, they talk about everything.
But what did come up was a video I had never even heard about or seen in any of the UFO, circles I round in. And I'm like, so what is this? And it's called a shape-shifting UFO. So this just happened a few days ago. No joke. And the orbs that I was talking about happened just a few days ago as well. So
The
now
timing's interesting.
it's very suspicious because I type in, Florida UFO, March 2025, and all that comes up is this video, which I've never even heard of, not even the story of a transforming UFO. And it was odd to me. So I'm watching this news story, right? Like, so this is not what I had seen in the videos on my social media. This is something completely different within the same time frame, which I haven't even heard about, other than when I Google for like main stories.
Right. And this new video it just doesn't look real. It looks fake. It looks
To me, I hate naysaying. You know me. I hate naysaying right off the bat. Maybe this might be legitimate. I never close the door entirely. But to me, it looked simple. It was very quick, simple little video. It looked like if you took one of those like blankets that astronauts use, you know what I mean?
the
Like
silvery blanket.
like yeah, you know what I'm saying? And you just kind of molded it together, and then you just kind of threw it, and then you filmed it
kind
wisping in the wind, and it looks like it's moving and shit.
Shimmering.
I could be wrong. But
okay, so correct me if I'm wrong. Excuse me, I don't mean to interject here.
Yeah.
But it sounds like what you're saying is perhaps these orbs in the original video you watched were real, and then they
Yes.
released this bullcrap video.
Yes.
Maybe title it in such a way to make it so when you search to try to find the real story, all you get is this crap, obviously fake thing.
Exactly. And I'm not going to be
That's
the only
something
one.
right out of Project Blue Book, isn't it?
That's what I'm saying. And that's why I was like, oh my gosh, I've got more of a story than I thought I did. That's why I wanted to bring this here today, just to talk
It adds to
about
the credibility of those orbs over Florida.
That's what I'm saying, that they've just been buried. They've been buried, and now there's this new video which is easily dismissed, which I'm not that much of a skeptic.
So anytime you're like, you hear about that UFO and that happened in March in Florida, be like, oh yeah, that weird little shimmery blanket. Yeah.
Exactly. And then you ignore all these videos that I've seen from just normal people literally being like, what the hell is that? Like they were like, they were saying it raised out of the water.
See,
like,
I
before
wish
they
the
even
video showed that,
I
because
know.
every video I saw, it seemed kind of stagnant, and that's what I have an issue with. Is the fact that the light is stagnant to me means it might not be a genuine UFO. I mean, anything that is unidentified flying in the air is a UFO or a UAP.
Well, yeah.
But I don't know if it's aliens, but it's definitely a phenomenon that I have not heard any explanation for. And like you said, the fact that it seems like they're trying to draw attention away from it does kind of make it seem like maybe there's more to it.
That's where I was like, ooh, I got a story. Like, you know what I mean? To me, that's the story. That it's like, you can't even find anything about all these tons and tons of videos. Like, I've seen so much content about them. And when I go to search it, nothing. I just find about this other thing that no one's talking about in the UFO circles.
Let's talk to our audience. Hey, if you guys are in Florida, or if you know what we're talking about and have maybe a possible explanation or your own opinions or even your own video, you can contact us at Earthling Entertainment Podcast at gmail.com, or just message us on our Facebook page. Hey, we'd love to hear anything you want to share.
Yeah, please do. We know we have listeners in Florida. Send us if you saw anything.
Absolutely. And well, I mean, you can't beat what Ryan just had, because that was a own little bit of investigation there. But I did prepare an article. Well, excuse me, Ryan did prepare another article here. It seems like Florida's not the only place where there's something weird going on in the sky.
That's right. Here we go. UFO sighting over Southwest as blue and white spiral lights up the sky. This comes to us from gloucestershire.co.uk.com. People in the southwest of the UK have been mesmerized by a blue and white spiral in the sky this evening, Monday, March 24th. That was just yesterday for us.
Oh, yeah. That was 2 days ago.
Yeah. So multiple pictures of the mysterious spiral of light has been seen moving across the sky north of Bristol. One person told Bristol Live, "I've just seen this slowly drifting over Yate, Bristol. It was slowly spinning, so maybe out of control. A number of pictures have been shared showing the strange spiral in the sky above homes in Bristol and Gloucestershire too. Other people across Southwest have seen similar things in the sky. One person said, just seen a UFO over Sandhurst, Gloucester. A third person said it came over looking like a slow white dot moving across the sky, but soon turned into this. It was very strange to see. So they saw it as a dot first, then it went spiral.
Huh.
They added, I'm an astronographer and I've never seen anything like this before.
That is interesting because to me, it looks kind of like a mini galaxy. Like if you were going to have like a Milky Way galaxy drawn in the sky,
It does.
that's what it kind of looks like. Except there's pretty much only two swirly tails that are kind of turning around each other.
Yeah.
It reminds me of that. But if it started as a white dot, that kind of then that seems like maybe.
What if it took off?
Well-
What if that's it like going pew?
Well, that's what I'm thinking. But what if it's a missile or a weapon and it's dispersing something, some kind of cloud or some kind of mist?
I didn't
Do
even
you know
think
what
about
I mean?
that.
Like it could be a weapons test.
Oh shit.
I
didn't even think about that.
I know we live in the United States and we think we're the only ones who the military's doing shenanigans, but everybody's military is testing shenanigans.
And we're gonna play a bit of the audio from the recording that I found of this. I got to watch the video. We just watched it, and there's just
Yeah.
this cute little British girl just being like,
Yeah. Well, figure it out for yourself. Like, here we go.
yeah.
Is it meant to be there?
Yeah, it's from space. Do you recognize that?
Us?
Yeah, it's in my space book. That's the Milky Way.
No, it's not. What is that?
Well, there you have it. It's impressing everybody. Weird things in the sky, man.
I just thought she was adorable. Like, no, that's the Milky Way. It's like, to be fair, like you said, it does. It
Looks like a galaxy, but
Yeah.
we're in the Milky Way. So
Right.
if we were to see the Milky Way, it wouldn't look like a spiral galaxy.
And if we saw another galaxy
Stupid
coming,
child.
if we saw another galaxy coming that close, I think that would be like cause for alarm.
Well, aren't we going to merge with another galaxy in a
Like
couple
in
billion
like
years?
just a couple billion
It's
years.
the Pegasus galaxy, right?
I thought it was with Andromeda.
It was. Yeah, you're probably right. It probably.
Yeah,
is
we're
Andromeda.
merging with Andromeda, and what's funny is we are actually a merged galaxy, is what I looked up. Like we have been merged like a billion years ago.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So-
I mean, when two galaxies merged, I mean, I imagine that there's a lot of displacement of planets and other things. Planets are probably destroyed, and planets are probably formed. There's probably a lot of destruction and creation all at once.
And what's funny is you'd think, oh, we're gonna hit Andromeda. We're gonna like, no. What's funny is there's so much space between the planets, between the stars, where actually, from what they haven't really been able to calculate any collision. Everything's just gonna
Kind of form together.
just kind of mix together. Isn't that wild? And they say,
Yeah, but with the changes in gravitational pulls and the differences with you think there'll be no? I don't know, man.
And
I
they-
think it's gonna be mass destruction.
maybe, but they say that the universe is ever expanding even faster, like literally faster and faster and faster.
Exponentially.
Yeah, it's never slowing down. It's actually going faster. So that means the space between worlds and stars are actually expanding. Like, think of it like raisins in a bread. Like the bread expands and the raisins move apart. Like, that's how I saw it explained. Forgive me, but that worked
Okay.
for me.
Fair enough.
But it makes sense. And they say that because of our odd, fun fact, our odd rotation with our moon, it kind of slingshots it off at a certain point. So literally every year we lose the moon by like a little bit. And they say like within like maybe like, couple million years where we might not have her.
I've never heard that before.
Yeah, no, it's a
Yeah.
real thing. It's because of the way there's like a certain moment where it just kind of slingshots off just a bit. Like it's not choreographed right.
None of that sounds correct.
Oh,
But
well, no, I'll find it. Oh, okay. Joe called me out. I'm gonna find it out.
all right, look. All I'm saying is, when you're making these wild accusations, Ryan, you need to be able to back it up.
I'm gonna say, if I remember right, we lose it by about 1.5 inches every year.
Okay.
I'm gonna look it up.
I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm saying I've never heard this before.
Oh yes, yes.
You know, it's obviously it isn't a galaxy that's far off in the sky, because if it was, then everyone on the planet would be able to see it, not just these people in England.
That's right.
Could
That's
you-
right.
Yeah,
But yeah, no. I honestly loved this story. That's why when and it was recent. That was another thing. I couldn't help myself. It just happened. So I was like, well, I mean, I gotta talk about this, and I love sharing stuff from other sides of the world. Like I feel like as ufologists, you gotta like listen to everybody.
So today we got a new segment. We don't have those very often. I don't know how often this segment is going to come up, but sometimes when we're looking up ghost stories, a lot of times they're told by celebrities. Like things that they personally have encountered.
Yeah.
Yeah. So here's our new segment.
Celebrity Ghost Stories.
Actress Kat Dennings claims ghosts saved her mother from a fall downstairs. This comes to us from coasttocoastam.com. Actress Kat Dennings recently recounted an eerie incident wherein a ghost seemingly saved her mother from a fall down some stairs that could have been disastrous. The Two Broke Girls star shared the spooky story during an appearance on the Jennifer Hudson show earlier this week, explaining that she grew up in an extremely haunted Pennsylvania home that was built in 1694.
I mean,
That's old.
that's kind of impressive.
To
because,
us, that's old.
Yeah, in the United States, a lot of buildings are at most that old. You know what I mean? It's not. You go to Europe, you go to Italy, you could sit next to a pier in a park that's thousands of years old. Here,
Right.
we're like, that bond's 300 years old, and it's the most ancient thing we've seen.
Yeah, like I said, for here, that's old. That's old as hell. Dennings revealed that everyone in her family witnessed paranormal activity at the historic residence. I know it sounds crazy, but it really happened, the actress marveled, recalling how they experienced all the classics, such as lights turning off and on, objects moving on their own. Dennings specifically pointed to
poltergeist stuff.
Right, yeah, like when they were having fun.
But no assault.
No assault. No assault on this one.
Okay.
Dennings, he really wants me to have it for the spooky stuff today. Dennings specifically pointed to a peculiar moment when her mother ventured into the horrifying basement of the house. As she descended the rickety steps, the actress told Hudson she lost her footing and fell. However, she said, something seemingly intervened in the terrible tumble as her mom was stopped in midair by an unseen force that kept her from hitting the floor and then lift her back onto a standing position onto the stairs. Swear to God, Dennings said.
Oh, see, here's the thing. I want to see that because this is someone who is, they're credible as far as being a functional human being, right? It's not like it's old woman who throws the cats and goes to City Hall to complain about potholes every day. Like, no, this is a credible individual saying that they witnessed it. That's crazy to me.
No, like I said, it's credible.
I want to see Ghost. Man, okay, so when I worked in a place that was supposedly haunted, I had bad feelings. I did see a rocking chair move that didn't really seem like it should be able to move, but I haven't seen anything I would consider like a ghost.
No, I haven't either.
Or something floating.
I have one thing, and it's funny because we talked about Eloise earlier. When I went to Eloise for my little... I literally just went there. I went there with a friend, and we just did it like a ghost hunt, and...
You just walked around the property, you mean?
And I went to
did you guys break in? Because
we didn't break in. We just went around the property, and we went across the street because there was this well, which we heard was haunted, which goes down, and literally there's a tunnel that goes underneath the road there and leads to the underground of the sanitarium.
Yeah.
And I took a picture of it, and in that picture, it was not there. It looks like, literally when you look at the picture, it looks like a grocery bag is dangling on like the top stair.
Okay.
Like, cause there was like little rungs of this, to go down, like, little bars. It was not there. So even though it looks in the picture like it just looks like a bag, I'm telling you, when I took that picture, there was nothing up there.
That would be funny as hell if ghosts have like the filter where if you take a picture of them, they just look like plastic bags floating in the wind.
Or like, just anything.
It's like a Doctor Who perception filter.
Like, right?
Son of a bitch. This is why we could never get a photo.
I mean, that maybe, like, I swear to God, like, I took that photo, there was nothing there. And when you look at the picture, I could find it for you. I guarantee I have it on my Facebook somewhere.
Ghost crow.
Because I remember posting it, like, and everyone was like, "What are we looking at?" And I'm like, "That was not there."
You don't even understand.
And we were right by the cemetery too. Like right behind us was there is still an old
a
cemetery
Yeah, and it's
for
all
the patients who died.
exactly. Oh, by the way, when I said earlier, and I asked Ryan, did he break in? To be clear, for a long time, this was an abandoned building. I'm sure someone owned it, but
Yeah, this was a long time
This
ago.
is a long time ago.
This
when
is
we
before
were
it's become.
teenagers.
Yeah, this is before it's become a haunted attraction.
It's essentially a functional business now, where it's a haunted house.
Yes.
During different parts of the year, you actually can sign up and do your own paranormal investigation.
And literally,
you can do pretty much. I don't want to be weird about it, but if you pay them, it seems like you can pretty much do whatever the hell you want.
And it's wild. Like honestly, the length of the whole asylum was insane. You know, it went all the way to Outer Drive and Michigan Avenue.
Sure,
which is insane.
For
like they
people
still
listening, that means nothing.
You're talking miles. You're talking miles because there's still a memorial to the asylum on that corner, which is so far down. I used to work at the dealership that's there now. And I'm telling you, it was wild to me that Eloise was huge. It was a huge thing. Like it had, eventually got, so it's honestly down to its bare bones, which is interesting. And
well, yeah, it's definitely not all like the whole grounds that were there.
Exactly. Yeah.
So apparently Eloise is 902 acres, it says, with 78 buildings and housed, well, this is when it was running, and housed 10,000 patients.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. It was enormous. It took up that whole stretch. And
I just remember in high school, it was like the big dare to like basically sneak on the property and, oh my God, there's ghosts. And I always thought, like, is that not a premise for a good horror movie? Because horror movies are best when you have a group of teenagers that all fill a certain category that are killed one by mysterious things. That is a good horror movie. So I know they made an Eloise Asylum movie, but this seems like a better premise.
I'm just saying, like, yeah, take it from a local's perspective here. But yeah, like I said, so the dealership that sits there, right, used to be a part of the asylum. So what if it is haunted? Like, Poltergeist, you moved the headstones, but you left the bodies. Why?
What are you doing, Kat Dennings?
Like, dude, right? Like, dude, that's what I'm saying. So what if all those businesses are haunted? So
in summation, I think she saw it.
I think she saw it. So it says here that she still gets goosebumps just recounting it. That's what she said live. According to the actress, her mother suffered only a minor injury to her pinky finger that would have been obviously much worse had the resident spirit not stepped in to lend an otherworldly hand.
See, now I'm thinking of like a scary movie thing, right? Where she falls and the ghost does catch her and she is stopped right before the floor and then pulled up into a standing position, just like Kat Dennings reported. But what she's leaving out is the mom having comical screams because the ghost has grabbed her by her pinky and breaks it as he pulls her back in the standing position.
It's all I could get.
So the whole time she's like, ah!
I'm sorry, I could only grab your pinky.
It's better than your face being smashed.
You're welcome.
Exactly.
That's weird.
It is weird. Oh, man.
Some things are weird, Joe.
Some things are weird. And you know what else is weird? Our next segment.
Real World Weird.
World's ugliest animal named Fish of the Year in New Zealand. This comes to us from dunyanews.tv.com. The blobfish, described as the world's ugliest animal, has been voted Fish of the Year in New Zealand.
Because New Zealand's are awesome.
They are. The creature, which grows to about 12 inches long, is known affectionately as Mr. Blobby and is the official mascot of the Ugly Animal Preservation Society. It has a bulbous head and loose, flabby skin and lives in the deep sea, mainly off the southeastern coast of mainland Australia, the Australian island of Tasmania, and New Zealand. The blobfish topped the annual poll by the Mountains to Sea Conservation Trust, an environmental nonprofit group, winning almost 1,300 out of more than 5,500 votes. The animal, which has a gelatinous tadpole-like body, benefited from a late surge in support to overtake the endangered orange, roughly another deep-sea dweller, by nearly 300 votes. Pretty
the
close.
endangered orange, right? Well, that's
Yeah.
why, like, because an orange was about to win. It's like a sponge winning. You're like, okay, we can
Yeah.
do better. We can do better. I know we're in ugly fish society or ugly animal preservation society, but we need the ugliest animal. And my God, this thing. I don't know if have you ever seen Mr. Blobby?
I think
'Cause
everybody's seen a blobfish. That thing went viral.
it's got like this weird note. It looks like a Pokemon, like a sad old fat
It
man turned
does.
into a Pokemon.
Like, yeah, if it was a Pokemon, it'd obviously be a water type, but I feel like it needs poison.
It looks
Just because
Yeah.
it looks.
gelatinous.
Yeah. In their natural habitat on the seabed at depths of about 2,000 feet to 4,000 feet, blobfish resemble any other fish. But when brought to the surface, where the water pressure isn't high enough to maintain their shape, blobfish morph into mushy creatures with an unfortunate appearance. Just like, hey guys, I'm not fat. I'm big brown.
Oh man. I was surprised it didn't die. It just gets kind of bloated and out of shape. Like, does that kill it, or is it evolved to where it can move in different depths and just kind of shape shift essentially?
I'm gonna be honest. This is kind of a bunch of bullshit. I kind of want to be back down there.
Yeah. It's really dark back down there. How terrible of a life is that, right? You only look sexy in the dark.
It's not that bad.
Anyone
Actually.
turns on the light, you become fat and ugly.
I don't mind it. No, it's good down here. No,
I'm
no,
at
down
a-
there, I feel like great. I'm a king.
I'm antisocial, so this works out.
No, this is the way to be. You know, if you're gonna be a blobfish.
Mr. Blobby.
I guess I'm gonna go back to the tank.
The Trust co-director Kim Jones described the competition as a battle of two quirky deep-sea critters with the blobfish's unconventional beauty helping get voters over the line. And we even have a picture of the Ugly Animal Preservation Society. They have a logo. It's wonderful.
I do like how the L at the end of animal is a slug.
Yes, it totally is a slug. So that's slurm.
That's how I
That's
feel
slurm.
about it, Ryan.
We and the people of New Zealand.
Hot take on the logo for the Ugly Animal Preservation Society.
That's right. Yeah. So we and the people of New Zealand had enough of other fish getting all the headlines, the broadcaster said. They said the animal has been bullied his whole life, and we thought, stuff this. I love that. We got to incorporate that. Stuff this. It's time for the blobfish to have its moment in the sun. And what a glorious moment it is. A spokesperson for the Environmental Law Initiative, which sponsored the orange roughly in the race, said it had no problem with the result.
It said it had no bloblum.
Oh my gosh, I thought that was a typo.
No,
and I was,
it was a pun, Ryan.
here I was
It
I was like patting myself on the back, like, oh, I'm just gonna skip right by this.
golden pun.
No bloblum with the result, stressing that it's still a win for the deep sea ecosystems and can help raise awareness about the environmental impact of destructive bottom trawling.
So
Trawling.
yeah.
Sorry,
So
trawling.
the Environmental Law Initiative was sponsoring the orange.
Yeah.
Okay, so since they lost, does this not is this guy the most clever man in the world, or did they have like a PR team who's like, this should be your official response? We have no bloblum.
Oh, they were prepared.
You'll take it. And the cue cards.
Oh, they were prepared, dude.
They were definitely prepared, but it's true. They're like, look, guys, we just don't want people like trawling the bottom of the ocean. That's really our whole deal. So you pick a blobfish, we picked an orange. It's all good, man, because they all live in the ocean. So our law initiative is set.
I don't have much info to share on that, but I have read about that is a problem. That really messes stuff up. Doing the trawling. But this ends here. I don't want to leave out, anybody. The longfin eel, the whale shark, and the great white shark were among the other fish in the top 10. I didn't want to leave them out.
The great white shark? I mean, he just looks like a great white shark.
Yeah, they're not ugly. They're freaking...
I mean, they're ugly as a shark is ugly.
I guess.
I mean, it's not... Since Jaws came out, who doesn't know what a shark looks like, though?
Right.
If you're the Ugly Animal Society, that you should not pick, like, a shark.
I would never describe a great white shark as ugly.
No,
ever.
man. Pick, like an octopus is weirder looking
or
than
a whale shark. Whale sharks are gorgeous.
Sure.
They're beautiful.
There's that one fish that's basically like a wiggly worm with tentacles that has like sharp teeth and no eyes. Pick that thing.
Or the thing that goes up your dick when you pee in the rivers of the Amazon. Like, pick that thing.
To be fair, I don't know what that looks like.
Neither do I. That's what I'm saying. I'm sure it's ugly.
I mean, its nature is ugly, but is the outside, does the outside match the inside, Ryan? You can't judge a book by its cover because maybe it's the most charming looking fish in the world.
And he just,
misunderstood.
Yeah, he just wants to get warm.
Coming June 7th, 2025, it's the 3rd annual Cryptids and Paranormal Conference held at Our House. With guest speakers Ronnie LeBlanc, Expedition Bigfoot, paranormal researcher Lyle Blackburn, ghost hunter Ron Iacovetti, Dr. Jeff Meldrum, and from Phantoms and Monsters, Lon Strickler. That's June 7th, 2025, Our House, located at 420 Adelphia Road, Farmingdale, New Jersey. Tickets are $45, available at Eventbrite. We will see you there.
Earthling Entertainment special report.
1. Coco 2 is officially in the works and is expected to arrive in 2029.
2. Severance has been renewed for Season 3 on Apple TV+.
3. Christoph Waltz joins the cast of Only Murderers in the Building for their 5th season.
4. Happy Gilmore 2 will release on Netflix July 25th, 2025.
This has been Earthling Entertainment Special Report. Nailed it.
Calling all comic fans, it's time to feed your brain at Green Brain Comics, where the freshest new issues, graphic novels, and manga hit the shelves every week. Whether you're looking for the hottest new series or the latest small press sensation, we've got it all. Every genre for every age, Green Brain Comics is your one-stop shop for all things graphic storytelling. Got questions? Our friendly staff knows their stuff. Whether you're a longtime fan or new to the world of comics, we've got recommendations that'll keep you coming back for more. And don't forget to check out our special events. Green Brain Comics is not just a store, it's a community. Located in East Downtown Dearborn, we are at Green Brain Comics on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Shop online at greenbraincomics.com and remember to feed your brain at Green Brain Comics.
It's true, you made it through to the second half of the show.
Hey guys, so to start the second half of the show, we got a book review. It's been a while since we did one of these, but the new Hunger Games novel is out, and so this is a spoiler-free review, and let's just jump right in.
Sunrise on the Reaping by Suzanne Collins. This is the 5th book in the Hunger Games series. The official synopsis. When you've been set up to lose everything you love, what is there left to fight for? As the day dawns on the 50th annual Hunger Games, fear grips the districts of Panam. This year, in honor of the Quarter Quell, twice as many tributes will be taken from their homes. Back in District 12, Hamish Abernathy is trying not to think too hard about his chances. All he cares about is making it through the day and being with the girl he loves. When Hamish's name is called, he can feel all his dreams break. He's torn from his family and his love, shuttled to the capital with 3 other District 12 tributes, a young friend who's nearly a sister to him, a compulsive odds maker, and the most stuck-up girl in town. As the games begin, Hamish understands he's been set up to fail, but there's something in him that wants to fight, and have that fight reverberate far beyond the deadly arena.
Yeah. So, the Hunger Games were huge. A lot of people watched the movies if they didn't read the books. Now, this is the 5th book published, but in the Hunger Games timeline, it is actually the 2nd book in the timeline.
Oh, okay. I knew it was a prequel to the movies.
Yeah, well, yes. So this is so the first one would be called The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, and that they just had a Hunger Games movie that came out recently. This book takes place about 40 years exactly, because in that first book it was the 10th Hunger Games. This is the 50th Hunger Games, and in the Hunger Games that Katniss Everdeen is in, it's the 74th, and then Catching Fire is the 75th Hunger Games.
Yeah, dude. The lore is it's awesome.
It is, and it's kind of funny because you think after the movies, some business executives like, these movies did great, we need more, and like, there's so many other Hunger Games, we could just kind of mine these forever. And I bet the writers like, well, hold on, let's try to make a good story. And while the first prequel, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, was very different from the Katniss Everdeen adventures in the original trilogy, this new one is the normal pattern you'd expect the Hunger Games to take. And that's not a bad thing, because the Suzanne Collins did a great job of keeping everything pretty fresh, because they're experiencing being reaped, which is them being chosen to do the Hunger Games, going to the Capitol and having the opening ceremonies and the parades and the makeup and the designers and everything that they have to go through that we've seen before. It doesn't happen in any of the ways that you think it's going to. So it is a fresh novel. And what else I liked about it is Hamish Abernathy, the main character of this novel.
None of this is spoiler, right?
No.
Okay.
Hamish Abernathy, who is the main character of this, is Woody Harrelson's character in the Hunger Games. Now, he is in a position where you kind of see him in the original movie trilogy or book trilogy as kind of like, he knows the people who are kind of doing the revolution, essentially, the big players in the Capitol. And you get to see a lot of how certain characters from those original books get kind of their own, not so much an origin story, but they get mentioned, they get seen. We see a lot of returning characters in their younger version and get a different perspective of like their actions in those later books.
Oh, that's cool.
It's very hard not to talk about this in a spoiler manner, because I did just finish the book today.
Oh, yeah. I can imagine.
So a few things is the whole thing is it's fights to the death. That's what the Hunger Games are. Everyone goes in and only one person comes out. So it's hard to keep good characters good and bad characters bad, because if they fight and they murder another kid, you have to have like a good reason to why they did it, or, a good reason to where they didn't have a choice. And once again, Suzanne Collins did a great job of writing our good guys to where you root for them, the bad guys to where you don't. It's very, very well done. And I like the use of mutts in this book. So mutts are genetically created monsters that the Capitol uses to torture people in the arena. And they've been featured in all the books and all the movies, so this isn't a spoiler. But I will say that there is a lot of new ones that are in this particular novel that I thoroughly enjoyed. There's one in particular where a character, and I'm not going to tell you who, because once again, spoilers, is picked clean down to the skeleton, and that is done by a swarm of mutts, which I find riveting. The book was great. It's about 400 pages. It is still a young adult book. It is printed by Scholastic. So if you liked the other ones, you should like this one. I do think it is better than pretty much all the books except the original. It is my second favorite.
I know that the book moved my girlfriend to tears. She told me that it gets heavy.
Did she finish it yet?
I have no idea. I don't know if she finished it.
Discuss it.
I don't know if she finished it yet. But that's why I was like, careful on the spoilers.
Yeah, well, Sunrise. Well, it's not just you. We have a lot more listeners than your girlfriend, Ryan. Thank God.
Well, that's what I'm worried about. Sorry.
Yeah, fair enough. Selfish-minded person.
Well,
so it came out on March 18th. So it's literally like been a week.
Yeah. It's only been out.
Which is why we're going so out of our way to try not to give anything. But I think we're pretty much done. I do give it a, let's say, 8 out of 10 or a 4 out of 5. I thought it was the second best Hunger Games book out of the 5. I really did like following Hamish as a character.
Okay.
In those original movies and books, he is quite a broken person. And I will say this book does, this new one, Sunrise on the Reaping, does a great job of taking you along the ride of what creates that broken person. Why is he so broken? And what could happen to someone to get him into that position. And there is a great epilogue at the end of the book that kind of takes place after the original trilogy of books. So you do get a sense of closure of pretty much the whole thing, and a final tip of the hat to those original. Yeah.
So that's cool. The best I can relate is Star Wars books. They kind of do that, where they tie things together at the end.
Sure. Well, I think it's definitely a good thing to do. So I recommend it. Sunrise on the Reaping. check it out if you're a Hunger Games fan. And if you are just kind of like a halfway Hunger Games fan, you're like, I'm a little interested, but I don't really want to read. There's always Audible. But if you don't want to Audible, this has already been greenlit for a movie. This is going to be a movie in a year or two. I don't know if it's coming out next year or the year after that, but it kind of, to me, feels like it was the studio being like, hey, Suzanne Collins, write another book. We want another movie. They did that with Hannibal, you know? Hannibal Rising, the original author of Silence of the Lambs, Hannibal, wrote that, and it came out at the same time as the movie, and it's really like he wrote it just because they wanted to make another movie.
I honestly never saw that one.
It's not as good.
That's. I think that's why I didn't see it. I heard things.
It's all right.
I heard things.
The main thing is he's a young man and soldiers come. I think it's World War II, and they're freezing in the winter, and they pretty much eat his sister in a stew, and then they find out that he was fed his own sister, and it indicates that might be why he becomes a cannibal. It gets weird.
This feels like it qualifies for a Joe. Num 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 num.
Num 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 sister. But yeah, so that's my final thing on Sunrise on the Reaping. I highly recommend it. It is only 400 pages, came out a week ago. Great thing if you like the whole kids fighting to the death kind of storyline. Well, I know
doesn't.
Squid Games is not just kids, so it's but the whole fighting to the death arena thing. Good for storytelling.
You gotta love it. Gotta
love it in literature. You know, hopefully we don't have any Hunger Games in the future, but in books, I'll read it all day.
Yeah.
Remember that guy? Remember that gal? Well, now they're dead.
George Foreman, boxer turned Foreman grill infomercial star, dies at 76. This comes to us from Variety.com. George Foreman, the charismatic boxer turned infomercial star who had a retail hit with his Foreman Grill product line, died on Friday. He was 76.
I got to be honest, when I was a kid, I knew him because of the George Foreman grill.
We all did.
Yeah, but I didn't know he was a boxer until I was like an adult because I don't follow sports, and two, it was just like, oh yeah, George Foreman grill. Yeah. I thought his job was he made the grill.
I never knew either. I remember, I think I first learned in high school, someone was like, he's a boxer. I'm like, oh.
No, dude, I was assumed everybody who's paid to be an infomercial person made the product. I thought Billy Mays made OxyClean.
But wait, there's more.
It's like, let me tell you about the ShamWow. I thought he was like just an awesome inventor. I'm like, fucking Billy Mays, man.
Fucking Billy fucking Mays. So
George Foreman made the grill is my point.
Back to George Foreman. The Texas-born Foreman became heavyweight champion of the world, turning into a TV staple and pop culture icon. In fact, Foreman became a bold-faced name staple on TV, from daytime talk shows to The Tonight Show and Late Night with David Letterman.
Naturally.
Of course. Foreman also starred in the short-lived 1993 ABC family comedy George, playing a retired boxer who runs an after-school program for troubled students. He hosted NBC.
Nothing helps you solve your problems than a guy who's punched people in the face for a living.
I mean, there's a lot of discipline. He hosted TV shows and movies over the years, playing himself or a similar character, including Night at the Museum, Battle of the Smithsonian, The Fighter, The Masked Singer, The Larry Sanders Show, Home Improvement, and King of the Hill.
I wonder if he played himself or a character in King of the Hill.
I tell you what. George Foreman's family confirmed his death in an Instagram post on Friday. He will be missed. And I wanted to add how much money this man made. Over $200 million from the grills.
So it was just the grill. So I'm not weird for only remembering him for the grills. Well,
and they say that was surpassing his entire boxing career earnings, which is impressive because I have to say this because I'm not a big sports fan either, but I swear to God, I heard about this. He came back for like this big match when everybody expected him to lose. He was kind of flabby. He won. Like he beat the snot out of this ripped dude and won the heavyweight again.
When was that though?
I have no idea, but
it was
I know
years
this
after
happened.
He retired.
Yeah, it was like, he was already kind of flabby. Everybody was betting against him and he won. Well, and that was before the Foreman Grill.
Wow.
Like he was a monster, dude.
But hey, the Foreman grill was still more, more lucrative ultimately, apparently. I don't know.
Did you have one?
I did.
Yeah, we had
as
one.
a young bachelor man, I definitely had one.
We definitely had one as well. I remember growing up with a. I used it to make burgers, and
I think everyone used it to make burgers, man. Who's out there making a panini? I don't know.
Well, maybe a few. Maybe.
Yeah, but you would have a panini maker. You wouldn't use
chimichanga.
Actually, I used everything for the George Foreman grill. And then what's funny is once I realized the George Foreman grill was just a slanted waffle iron, I started just making things in a waffle iron after the George Foreman grill broke. I'd put like a hamburger in the waffle iron and flip it over.
And then it makes little ketchup traps.
It did work. I gotta be honest.
But it did. But this actually brings us kind of segueing into our next unfortunate.
Speaking of burgers.
Well, now they're dead. Good Burger star Jan, work with me here, Schwitterman died at 52. That's young. This comes to us from nypost.com. The actor behind one of Nickelodeon's earliest movie villains died last month after a short battle with cancer. Ugh.
It's probably all those Mondo burgers.
The Mondo burgers. That's what it was. With all respect, we're joking.
Yes.
Jan Patrick J.P. Schwitterman, known for playing antagonist Kurt Boswell in the 1997 classic comedy Good Burger, died on February 28th at Mercy Hospital in Washington, Missouri. He was an artist of photography and painting. He studied martial arts and loved playing Dungeons and Dragons. Schwitterman's obituary stated he was 52 years old.
It's just too young, man. I mean, I thought my dad died young, and he was 10 years older. And yeah, it seems like anyone who dies young, unless it's an accident or a drug thing, it's always cancer, man.
We weren't meant to be here, Joe. We are aliens. We were bred to not be here. We're getting cancer. This sucks. So Schwitterman was born in Bluffton, Indiana, roughly 35 miles south of Fort Wayne, and became a proud Eagle Scout. Oh, I'm an Eagle Scout. Before he sets his sight on Hollywood. He moved to Los Angeles shortly after high school to become an actor, where he secured his start on the small screen with guest roles in television shows like McKenna, ER, and Forever. I remember ER.
Yeah, I think ER is the only thing I do remember out of those.
Yeah. The actor made his splash when he was picked for the main antagonist role of Kurt Boswell, the owner of rival fast food restaurant in Good Burger, opposite Saturday Night Live's Kenan Thompson and Cal Mitchell. After he received success from his work in the comedy, Schwitterman went on to act as a guest star in Felicity and a handful of other projects. He went on a 7-year hiatus from the film industry after 2000. Schwitterman's last film credit was in the 2008 indie film Along the Way. Unfortunately, he did not reprise his role in the Good Burger films when the sequel hit theaters in 2023. We did actually a little review of that ourselves.
Yeah, I liked Good Burger too. I thought it was weird that they had his character's sister in the film.
Yeah, they did.
So it makes me wonder, did they approach him? Was he just like, I don't want to do it? Because by this point, he would have not been acting for a good, almost 15 years. So he might have just been like, no, I'm not interested. Or was there something behind the scenes where they're like, we're not even going to ask? I don't know.
No, that's rough. And they say that the cancer diagnosis was really recent. So who knows, right? Did he even know?
Yeah, well, I don't think they would have known while filming the film. That's for sure.
Yeah. Schwitterman is survived by his parents, Clara and Leroy, 2 sisters, his brother, nieces, nephews, and cousins. You will be missed, dude.
He will be missed. Everyone of our generation watched Nickelodeon. We were Nickelodeon 90s kids, really. And, every one of them saw Good Burger. So he's going to be remembered.
A staple.
A whole generation will remember him. I don't know if our listeners fit in that age bracket. Some do, some don't. But for us and our peers, you will be remembered and you will be missed.
100%, man, dude. What a good movie. He did a great job. He was a great villain. He deserved more. He should have done more roles, man. Let me say, fuck cancer.
We'll say it every damn show if we have to. Fuck cancer. But there's kind of a weird connection because the last segment of our show is headlines. And our first headline actually kind of in a small, weird way connects to Good Burger because the when Linda Cardellani, I always get her name wrong, but she was in Good
You
Burger.
did better than me.
She was in Good Burger, man, and she had a small role, so I just think it's funny. Anyways, I'm getting ahead of ourselves. Here is our final segment of the show. Earthling Entertainment headlines.
Linda Cardellini officially to star as Pamela Voorhees in Crystal Lake series from A24. This comes to us from BloodyDisgusting.com. After early reports that Peacock's Friday the 13th prequel series, Crystal Lake from A24, may have found its Mrs. Voorhees last month, it's now official. Linda Cardellini, The Curse of La Llorona and Scooby-Doo.
And a few other things. She's Hawkeye's wife, for you Marvel fans.
I love that.
She starred in the one season of Freaks and Geeks, and that was a very popular show. She was in Good Burger, as I mentioned before.
That's right.
I recently watched an episode of Keenan and Kel. Don't ask questions. I was trying to see if my 2-year-old was interested. And she showed up in
that. She has officially signed on to star. Deadline reports.
Woo!
The series version of Pamela Voorhees is believed to be a mother who has given up a singing career to raise a special needs child and takes a dark turn when she loses her son.
Dun, dun, dun.
Betsy Palmer played Mrs. Voorhees in the original film, and she did a great job. Revealed to be the killer behind the camp counselor's slayings in retaliation for the drowning of her son, Jason. I love these movies. Brad Caleb Kane from Welcome to Derry is the showrunner for Crystal Lake. In addition to Kane, executive producers on the series include A24 and Victor Miller, who wrote the screenplay for the franchise's original 1980 film. The project will mark A24's first major IP-driven project amid a recent effort to expand in a more commercial direction.
Which, honestly, I don't think is a good idea. A24 has done great, weird, awesome movies, and they've won Oscars for it. You know what I mean? So it's like, I think this thing that we're doing that sets us apart, that's working, we should just change and be like everybody else, Ryan.
I'll agree with that.
You can see what I'm saying?
Yeah. I didn't have a frame of reference there. No, I get it now. Yeah, that's maybe not a best thing. I was like reading it. I was like, hey, Dean. From the moment I watched Jason Voorhees squeeze a guy's eyeball out of its socket in glorious 3D. At the tender age of 8 years old, I knew my creative path was someday destined to converge with the man behind the mask, previously said Kane in a statement. Nothing defined my childhood more than growing up in the golden age of slasher flick. And nothing's defined the genre more than Friday the 13th.
Yeah, I will agree
agree.
with it.
I
Yeah,
agree.
so everyone says that the first slasher was Halloween, and well, they're wrong, but in a sense, they're right. That started the slasher craze. But I feel like Friday the 13th sculpted it. It made it what it was. It refined it. You know what I mean?
Dude, the deaths were better. The deaths were way more creative.
Yeah.
I couldn't be more excited for the opportunity to contribute a chapter to this iconic franchise, particularly with such fearless partners as Peacock and A24. To refresh your memory, Peacock had given the project a straight-to-series order in 2022, with Crystal Lake being described as an expanded prequel to the original Friday the 13th franchise featuring both Jason Voorhees and his mother Pamela. With this key casting now official, expect to hear more details on this upcoming series soon.
Yeah. So in that,
I'm excited.
I'm really excited. In that original Friday the 13th movie, the camp counselors that we see, the ones we follow, are basically reopening the camp after a horrible incident that happened years ago. And that's how it got the nickname like Camp Blood and things like that. That's how, if I'm remembering right, that is the case. Because in the past, years ago, when Jason died, Mrs. Voorhees killed the counselors that night, that time. You know what I mean? And I think
Yep.
that's what this show is going to be. This show is going to be the first incident. So we're going to see Jason as a mongoloid. We're going to see him getting bullied. We're going to see him drowned. And then I think the rest of the show, maybe the majority of it, I don't know how much it'll be Jason, because I think Pamela Voorhees is the star, right? So most of it's going to be just like almost like a Dexter kind of show where it's like, I'm going to murder people each episode, or the Chucky series, maybe.
Right. Why would she trust him like at camp with like a bunch of counselors, a bunch of teenagers, if she knew that he was,
I think she was
dangerous?
What are you talking about?
Do you think that Jason was like murderous before?
No, he wasn't. He was just a special needs. He was a mongoloid. Jason never murdered anyone in the original movie. It was all Pamela Voorhees. Jason didn't show up until the second film.
Right,
and
with the sack on his head.
Yeah, but that film was not written by the original screenwriters. Therefore, Jason's character being anything more than a boy who's drowned in a lake is not existent. There is no hockey mask. There is no undead killer of Jason. There is only a mother who loses her son and then murders the counselors because of it. That is the only thing they have rights to, is that original film.
Oh, and I love Friday the 13th. So like I had to understand that we have to understand as the viewer that Jason survived somehow and she didn't know.
But that's what I'm saying. He doesn't. In that original film, Jason does not survive. When he pops out of the water at the very end, that is a dream. He is not ever undead or even the killer or even the bad guy.
So you're saying from 2 on, my life is a lie.
I'm saying from 2 on, they went in a different direction. That first film was a straight up whodunit slasher flick that had a clever premise of a grieving mother because you didn't see it coming because it was this seemingly innocent woman. But the sequels were like, what do we do from here? Oh, let's make Jason the main antagonist. But because the rights to the original Friday the 13th film revert back to the original writer, my understanding is he only has rights to that first film. So we will not see Jason in a hockey mask or even as an adult in this series unless they've worked out some kind of deal with the producers of the other films.
Right. Yeah. No, that's interesting.
It's a lot of red tape.
Yeah, it's a lot of red tape. Like, yeah, he didn't even pick up the mask technically until 3, but it didn't even look right until 4. And like,
yeah.
It was weird. Yeah. But I love that, and I love old school shit, and a lot of people love old school shit, and that kind of brings us to our next article because
headline number 2.
Bam Margera will be in Tony Hawk 3 and 4 after Hawk intervened. This comes to us from videogameschronicle.com. Despite suggestions otherwise, it appears that Bam Margera will indeed be included in the upcoming Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4. Earlier this year, when Activision first announced the Remake Collection, it also announced a list of skaters planned to be featured in the game. This list included every classic skater originally featured in Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4, except one, Bam Margera. Known for his roles in Jackass, Viva La Bam, and the Tony Hawk series, was seemingly missing.
Yeah, it was weird. I saw that announcement trailer, and I made note of that. So did you.
Yeah, I saw a lot of people comment. It kind of went viral. Everybody was just kind of jumping on
Bam?
it.
Well,
yeah.
He was the only one not there. It was glaringly obvious for anyone who played those original games.
And I didn't, and you said that he was very important.
Yeah, so in 4, I believe he was one of the characters that actually was in He walked around and gave you missions, and he actually recorded his voice. He was a character, essentially.
Yeah, so that makes sense that they had to have him.
Well, okay, so the 4th game, I believe, is kind of a story-based game, and they've gotten rid of the story and made it rounds like the original 3 games. It is a controversial thing they've done. I don't think it'll mess up the gameplay, but it does make it so they don't have to re-record voices, and they might not have to pay people the same amount of money, so I'm sure there's some reason. It could just be for time. It could be to remake the game in the way it originally was. It would take an extra year. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So now, during a live stream on the Live Club Skating podcast, it's been claimed that Bam was added to the game at the last minute after Hawk demanded he be included. Here's what happened. The game was already done. Tony called up Activision and was like, hey, we're putting Bam in the thing. Activision responded, "We can't," which made Tony Hawk reply, "No, you're going to do it." Then seemingly made them fly Bam back out there to get body scanned and everything to get him back in the game.
I mean, it's you throw your weight around when you can, right? He's like, I'm Tony Hawk. My name is in the game. I don't know if this is true, but I imagine he could just be like, I refuse to let you do this or sign off whatever I need to. Or you could make a Tony Hawk game, but you can't use my likeness rights or whatever power he had. He swung his power around.
Yeah. I remember seeing the articles about, oh, he's not going to be included. And then I saw videos of literally Bam and Tony Hawk skating together that day.
Exactly. So I believe the timeline goes, he wasn't going to be in it. Then Tony and him hang out, whether that was prompted by Bam Margera or Tony Hawk himself. And then after that, the phone call's made. Like, dude, why are we not including Bam? Because him having personal problems does not affect why you could be in a video game. He's not showing, like, he's got to show up, he's got to get scanned, he's got to do some stuff. But if he can do all of that and he's willing to do all of that, who cares if his personal life is a little wacky?
Well, and it kind of touches on that here. Margera was faced with a string of health and legal issues in recent years. Due to issues related to substance abuse, he was fired from Jackass Forever, after which he was issued with a restraining order from Jackass director Jeff Tremaine. Tremaine had previously fought for years to include Margera in the reunion film. It was believed that this was the likely reason Margera was seemingly missing from the Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4 remake announcement, but shortly after the game's announcement, an image was then posted online showing Margera reuniting with Hawk at his skate park, like I just said.
Yeah.
Giving fans a slight hope that he may be there after all.
Well, the whole thing with my understanding with Jackass 4 is they told him, hey, you could be in it, but you got to be sober for X amount of time. And he wasn't able to do that. So they're like, all right, you're out. And then do you remember he did that viral video where he's just like, hey, all you fans of mine, boycott this movie. Like, let's not go see it. In fact, if all of you out there, everyone watching me on this live stream or follows me on Instagram, if each one of you gave me $1.
I was about to say, send me $1.
Send me $1. And I
send me $1.
I can make a movie.
To
be fair, the Jackass movies probably budget-wise don't cost all that much. So if every one of his fans did send him $1, he probably could have made a Jackass movie.
Well, yeah, he's got millions of fans.
He's going to make his own version, right? Because Viva La Bam was essentially an evolution off Jackass, and Jackass was an evolution off the CKY skate/music videos. And
well,
it all originated with him.
They used a lot of their footage. They bought a lot of the original, like all the shopping cart stuff. That was originally CKY video that they sold to them.
I believe it. I have the CKY trilogy, and the fourth one, DVDs over there next to my Haggard DVD, which is Bam Margera and starring Ryan Dunn, their movie that they made. I mean,
I have to watch it.
It's sad, but the fact is, his best friend died, Ryan Dunn, and he was in the Jackass movies with him. He was in Viva La Bam with him. He was there through all of it, and that broke him. It seemed like Bam Margera never recovered after that. It happens, but he got out of. He wasn't in the spotlight anymore, and suddenly all the news was bad. I mean, he had a hard time, and we understand that because we've had friends that we've lost, and one in particular, it changed a lot of lives. I had friends.
You moved to L.A.
Yeah, exactly. Another friend became a shut-in, and another friend. It's rough.
Yeah, no, it is, man. So, but yeah. Jumping back to the Tony Hawk here, it says Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4 will be released on July 11th, 2025. Although the more expensive digital deluxe and collector's editions of the game will offer 3 days of early access starting on July 8th. So if you're itching for it, you can do that.
Oh, it costs you $50 extra.
It doesn't seem worth it to me. But I don't know. Some people like to do that for streaming. Featuring
That makes a lot of sense. If we had a Twitch, we'd probably do it.
That's what I'm saying, yeah. Featuring cross-platform online multiplayer, the game will be available for Xbox Series XS, Xbox One, PS5, PS4, Nintendo Switch, and PC. Yay.
And via Alexa, right? It's on everything.
Via Battle.net, Windows, and Steam. Perfect. It'll also launch on a day when Game Pass Ultimate and PC Game Pass. So that's mine. PC Game Pass. That's what I do.
Oh, well, nice. Well, I'm glad that we could all play it. Now, hopefully the online gameplay is cross-platform supported, so we can play on different things. I have a buddy named Jay, and we've played a few games. There was Back for Blood, and he was playing on a PC, and I was playing on my PlayStation, and we were able to play online.
Oh,
So
that's dope.
it happens every once in a while, and maybe this will be one of them.
Yeah, maybe.
Oh.
So,
Speaking of things that are weird, no, I'm
yeah,
kidding.
yeah. Well, speaking of bringing things back here, we got
Headline number 3.
Coyote Vs Acme may finally release after Warner Brothers and Discovery cancellation. This comes to us from Nerdist.com. This is probably not a new story to you. In 2024, Warner Brothers Discovery shelved Coyote vs. Acme, a fully completed movie that was, by all accounts, testing very well with audiences. Worse, Coyote vs. Acme was canceled by Warner Brothers Discovery for tax break purposes.
Yeah, I mean, they basically were like, we're going to make more money making this a tax write-off than we would releasing the movie.
I disagree. I would have seen it.
I would have seen it too, but unfortunately, we wouldn't have seen it like 14 million times.
I guess. In a way, it became a symbol for many of the shenanigans that Warner Brothers Discovery and other streamers seem to be pulling. What could be more antithetical to the creative process than destroying the finished work of hundreds of creators who had poured countless hours into a movie simply to save a few dollars? The news created a large public outcry by fans and creators. And for a while, Warner Brothers Discovery said that they were shopping the movie around. But it seemed like Coyote vs. Acme would never see the light of day. But now a new report indicates that Coyote vs. Acme may get a release if a deal to sell it to Ketchup Entertainment goes through.
I know that would throw you. It actually is Ketchup.
That's
they did the
great.
new Hellboy movie.
Nice.
Yeah, so Hellboy the Crooked Man, which I love.
I know you love that movie.
Nobody else loves that movie. Everyone I've talked to is like, yeah, it was a movie. I really liked it. But Ketchup Entertainment, they're about to tell you right now, they recently bought off Warner Brothers another Looney Tunes property. So
we bet everybody would be really happy to see this deal go through, and that includes fans, the movie's creative team, and Warner Brothers Discovery. If Coyote vs. Acme could just release into the world, then it might feel like a wound of a kind has been healed. Reports indicate that Ketchup Entertainment is negotiating for the acquisition of all rights to Coyote vs. Acme movie, and the negotiations are up in the 50 million range. I wonder how much the budget was. Ketchup also rescued The Day the Earth Blew Up, a Looney Tunes movie, which we just covered last episode.
yeah, which last episode we were speculating was a release digitally, and no, it went into theaters.
Yeah.
We were wrong. It went into theaters.
I could literally
That's
go
how-
see it today.
Apparently, Ketchup Entertainment is not great at paying for marketing. Because honestly, it boggles my mind that they released that Looney Tunes movie in theaters, but they did not release the Hellboy movie in theaters in the United States. I think it was released in Australia and maybe like the UK, but in the United States, we didn't get a Hellboy release. But you released Looney Tunes.
It's a damn shame he was just a boy.
I'm just saying, I think you would have made more money off a live action Hellboy than you did with the cartoon. Now, jury's still out because it's still in theaters, but spoiler, it's not making huge waves. It's not going to be the highest grossing animated film of the year.
In case you haven't heard of Coyote vs. Acme, the Looney Tunes film is a live-action hybrid starring Will Forte, John Cena, and Lana Condor. Condor? Sorry.
Yeah,
The movie revolved around a court case in which Wile E. Coyote sues Acme Company after decades of having their products fail to help him capture that pesky roadrunner. He forms a friendship with his lawyer, which is played by Will Forte, as they go against Acme Company's legal representation, played by John Cena. Never see me.
Yeah.
James Gunn was actually a producer on the film, and Will Forte said that the movie was actually incredible. Will Coyote vs. Acme actually release into movie theaters? Only time will tell, but it will be very wonderful if it did.
You know, I am super duper excited about this. I truly am. I like the idea of the movie. I like the idea of a movie being saved from from basically the trash can. I understand, I disagree with it, but I understand why they're never going to release the Batgirl movie. And that's because Warner Brothers considers DC a huge brand. And whether right or wrong, they felt as though that releasing that film would hurt the overall brand. But Looney Tunes is a different story. There's like, you can't really hurt or not hurt Looney Tunes. It's just a staple. It exists. Last week we talked about them taking the original cartoons off of their streaming site,
Off of Max, yeah.
which sucks. But Looney Tunes in of themselves still exist in different forms. There's Tweety and Sylvester. There is 2 Space Jam movies. Like, the characters aren't going to disappear. I just,
yeah, you know, and I grew up with Looney Tunes. Like I said, I talked about it last podcast, and then we had Space Jam. We all saw it. You know what I mean?
So I think we would all see this because it is that cartoon human hybrid thing that has always worked so well. Think Roger Rabbit. Think Chip and Dale's on Disney Plus.
Yep.
You know?
And he's awesome. He's funny.
Will Forte is great.
Yeah. So I'm sure it would be great. And I hope it comes out. And honestly, when it comes to Batgirl, selfishly, I just want to see Brendan Fraser as a bad guy.
It'll never happen, Ryan.
I know. I want to see it.
But we might see Coyote vs. Ugly. And that is the final headline of the show. Guys, did you enjoy what you heard today? I hope you did. Come back. Listen to us next week. Why don't you check out some older episodes? The key is make sure to hit that download button. Hit that download button. The download button is the best way to support the show. And thanks for being a listener.
Your mission is to share this podcast with a friend, with a coworker, whoever you're next to. Please listen to us on your way to work, on your way home, on your way to get some groceries. Share us with Earthlings, because we're all Earthlings. And we need to share this podcast around because we are getting around.
So from all of us here at Earthling Entertainment, see ya.
Bye. That's a wrap.